Hey, what's going on? Nick here from virtualassistantassistant.com, and this is my review of Delesign, a new service that offers unlimited graphic design requests for a flat monthly fee. Now, Delesign isn't the first company to offer such a service. Design Pickle is probably the best known, but they approach it a little bit differently and perhaps have a broader definition of what constitutes graphic design, in that they'll include work that's traditionally higher value, higher price, like animated explainer videos and other motion graphics related tasks. How Delesign works is they're going to assign you a dedicated designer. They're going to match you with a dedicated designer, and in my case that happened within 12 hours. It was a really fast process based on the requirements that you submit, based on the types of design you envision needing done. Now, since the designers themselves are located overseas, you can pick whether you prefer day shift or night shift. Would it be helpful to have somebody working the same hours as you so you can have faster back and forth communication? And since that sounded appealing to me, that was the option I chose, and the price was the same either way. So it was night shift for my designer, day shift for me. Now, Kenny, the founder, and we did another video with him to dive deeper into what the service is all about, who it's for. He was kind enough to hook me up with 2 months worth of the service for free, so I could test it out and make this review. So there's my little bit of disclosure on that front. The reason I haven't signed up for one of these services on my own is that I don't always have a ton of ongoing graphic design needs in my business, but I used this trial as an opportunity to get a bunch of social media graphics done, something that I usually do myself for better or worse, but it can be time consuming. And specifically, I needed to create a bunch of graphics for Pinterest. I have a general theme or kind of design template that I use. And really, for me, the most time consuming part is like selecting the background image, and that and coming up with the copy, the words to actually put on it to make it compelling for somebody to save it to their boards, to click on it. So with Delesign, I still had to do that part to provide the copy, but my designer did all the image selection, which was a time saver for sure. I gave him access to my Shutterstock account for those, but otherwise he could pull graphics from Pexels or other free, royalty-free image sources with some basic guidelines. Like, here's the type of images that have historically performed well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to test the full menu of design services, like the motion graphics and all that stuff, but really just focused on getting these Pinterest images done. You can see some examples of what they had, what my designer made for me. In total, Delesign made 32 of these over the course of 2 months, which when paid monthly works out to a little over $20 per design. So what was good about the platform? First, a dedicated designer and speed of implementation. Getting assigned a dedicated designer within 12 hours, and I don't know if that's the promised timeline, so don't overstate that. But it was really fast to get up and running, to get off the ground. And it was cool to have a single point of contact, somebody who could become familiar with my brand, the types of designs that we were making, so that made his life easier, I imagine, as we moved forward. The second thing was speed of turnaround. Delesign promises turnaround times of 12 to 24 hours, for simple types of design requests, and I found that to be accurate for the type of stuff that I was delegating to them. And another benefit was the designer understanding and revisions and kind of the communication aspect. Actually thought that was a strong point of Delesign as well. The communication and language barrier wasn't an issue at all. Of the 30 plus designs that they made, I only had to request revisions or provide feedback really just a handful of times. For outsourcing something as subjective as design, I thought that was pretty good. And the other cool thing, never asked my designer to do this, but often he would submit 2 or 3 different design concepts or choices for each request that I made. I thought that was really thoughtful and helpful. So I could be like, oh, of those, here's my favorite, and I'll, run with that, add that to my Pinterest account. What could be improved upon for Delesign? I'm hesitant to provide user interface specific feedback since I know that is going to change as the company matures and grows. But one thing that would have been helpful would have been to have like some sort of preset drop down, where I could say, this is a similar request as last time, or this is like kind of a recurring request. So what I did on my own was just copy and paste the information from the previous request, which at least for the kind of design work that I was delegating, it would have been handy to have a little, preset type of template for Pinterest graphics or, whatever type of thing that you're doing. The ability to submit tasks via email might have been helpful as well, just because, at the moment, everything has to go through their interface. Not a huge deal, and of course, subject to change as the company grows. So who's going to get the most value out of Delesign? Delesign is best for companies that have ongoing graphic design needs. These, marketing agencies, content marketing agencies, where it's like, okay, you're pumping out this content, you need graphics for social media to go along with that, and you have, or you will implement, a consistent process for delegating those design requests. In my case, I would go, since I didn't have that process down, I would sometimes go weeks in between requests and then batch over another 6 or 10 design requests. And so if you have that ongoing need for it and a consistent process, either that you're using today or that you can comfortably implement, I think you'll be well suited to get a ton of value out of a service like Delesign. To learn more and see what other Delesign customers have to say, check out the full profile over at virtualassistant.com/Delesign. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll link that up for you in the description below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you soon.